Hello, Mr. Shattuck. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You're Aaron, right?
Yes, sir. That's right. Perfect.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a student. I go to UNT. I'm 21 years old. I'm living alone in an apartment in Urban Square. And as far as my fitness goes, I'm pretty proud of myself. I've made a lot of progress this past year or so. I've gained more muscle. I've gotten more fit, and I just feel good. That's the important thing is feeling good. And my biggest change has been my diet. I eat very well now. I eat a lot of protein, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fiber. And I think that's been my biggest, outside of anything academia, that's been my biggest achievement in my personal life is throwing my health, flipping it upside down, and making a change for the better. So that's pretty much been my life recently.
So, you're just kind of wanting to maybe eat a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I eat pretty good as it is, but I still have a big attachment to junk food. Candy, burgers, a lot of bad stuff. I'd like to get rid of that as much as I can. Of course, it's a mental attachment, right? You eat this way your whole life, so getting rid of all that is tricky. It's been the biggest challenge for me in my personal nutrition journey, let's say. So I think I'd like to make some improvements there.
So, are you trying to focus more on eliminating it completely, or just kind of tone it down a little bit?
Well, I have toned it down a bit, but I'd like to try to eliminate it completely because the whole guilt thing. Every time you have some Whoppers, let's say, or Reese's or a Hershey bar, it's like you're cheating, right? And that's the mentality of people who are trying to lose weight too, obese people. It's like, oh, I made a mistake, and then they commit to themselves to not eating anything bad for a week, and then they mess up again, and then they relapse. It's like a drug addiction. So I think for me, I'd like to just purge it all completely. To get rid of that dopamine association, get rid of that enjoyment of it, and of course the enjoyment will never go away, but the cravings will, if I sustain it for long enough, if I can discipline myself for long enough, they'll go away. And that's really my goal, is to get rid of those cravings, because without it, then I'll just succumb over and over again. It'll be this endless cycle of repeat, 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 and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So if you can help me with that, I would really appreciate it.
Sure. So, you just kind of want to start off by dumbing it down a little bit, trying to eat as less, and then hopefully eventually just completely get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. I do, like I said, I do cheat sometimes. I'm not proud of that. And it is a result of giving into my cravings. Everything, when I go to the store, when I go to Walmart, I'll see the candy aisle, and I think, okay, I'll just pick up a Hershey bar. No big deal. I feel so much guilt afterwards. So it's like I said, it's about getting rid of that craving. And if I can manage to overcome my if I can muster up enough willpower to say no to it, or to say, okay, I'm not going to go through that aisle today, I'm not going to go through the junk food aisle, then that's my goal, to do that, to have that willpower. And to just minimize it as much as I can to the point where I don't even feel any cravings at all. That's my goal.
So, why is this important to you? Why do you want to make a change?
Well, because for two reasons. Because I'm working out a lot, and so I want to make my improvements. I want to maximize my efforts, because I put all this effort into the gym, right? Lift weights all the time. But if I'm cheating all the time, then what's the point? You make no gains, you do nothing, and at the end, all your effort is wasted. So I think my big goal is to eat in a way that's conducive to my success as someone who wants to gain weight and someone who wants to be more fit, to be in more shape. And so long as I'm giving into these cravings, then that'll never happen. So yeah, my goal is to get rid of the cravings and also replace the cravings with good food, and maybe down the line I'll create that association of good food equals, because it's all in the brain, right? It's all dopamine rewards. So, if I'm eating good food, now it's like, oh, it's such a drag, Who wants to have a brisket at midnight, to get that little extra gram of protein in? But eventually, if that's all I'm exposing myself to, then I'll be creating that dopamine association. And that's what it is. I know the neurology behind it. So it's a matter of getting rid of the cravings and adding the enjoyment of good foods that are nutritious.
So the working out aspect is perfect, but you're just trying to maximize when you're working out.
Exactly. I'm trying to get the most out of what I'm putting in.
Yeah. You're trying to replace your so-called junk food with better food.
Exactly. That's exactly
be more beneficial when you work out.
Mm-hmm.
So, how life be different if you were to make this change?
Well, I think before I make the change, it'll be really hard because it's going to take a lot to overcome the cravings. Because I don't know how long it'll take. I'm not someone who would know that sort of thing. But weeks, months, that's going to be tough. It's like any addiction, like alcohol addiction. You're craving it. You want it all the time. And I know people in my family and in my personal life who can't overcome these cravings. They try for their whole lives, even, and they just cannot catch a break as far as mustering up the will to fight it. So, to answer your question, as a result of making this change, I'm going to feel better. That's the whole point of working out. That's the whole point of attending to your nutrition, is to feel better and to feel, well, I guess it depends on the kind of person you are. If you're trying to lose weight, you want to feel more fit. But if you're trying to gain muscle or even bulk up, then you want to feel bigger. But in this case, I'm just trying to be as in shape as possible. And so long as I get into these cravings, I'm not going to feel as good as I can. And I want to feel as good as I can to make the most out of my effort. Because when you're in the gym and you're putting in all this effort and you just know that you're going to have a horrible meal afterwards, the motivation goes away, and then you're stuck not working out, worst case scenario, not working out and just giving into these cravings. So yeah, I just want to feel good. I want to feel better as best I can.
Well, I think it's good that you have an understanding that it's going to be difficult. I think some people just come in and automatically think that they're going to make a change just like that in a week.
Yeah.
But I think that you knowing that it's going to take some time, weeks, months, even more than that, but you're willing to is a good thing. So I would say.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good attitude about it. I just hope it'll affect how difficult it will be, but I'm hopeful about it.
What concerns do you think you have about making this change?
Well, my biggest weakness is chocolate, especially malted milk balls, like Whoppers. I love Whoppers, Mr. Shattuck. I love them to death. So, in fact, I can't get enough. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner really is Whoppers, But in all seriousness, I do have a craving for junk food, as most people do in this country, in this day and age. Candy is my weakness, So, and it doesn't help that I've been eating candy all my life. Not even, chips, snacks like that, cookies, But candy is really the tough one. And I've never in my life tried to overcome something that I've been practicing since infanthood. So it's going to be tricky to make that change for the first time ever. I don't know what to expect. I don't know how hard it's going to be. It could be impossible. Well, I know it's not impossible, but it could be close to impossible. And that's what I'm afraid of. But I'm going to do my best. I know that there's no serious, it's not like a heroin addiction where you risk your life getting off it. So, the risks aren't really there. So I think all I need is the motivation. And that's my biggest thing, is the motivation. So I want to have as much as I can.
So how many times a day are you consuming this candy?
At least once, at most maybe 3 times. They're little balls, little chocolate balls, so they're easy to binge on. I get the big cartons at Walmart. I love those. And so they're easy to eat. They're really, really easy to eat in mass. So that's my biggest weakness, is starting and just not stopping. That's the hardest thing, is controlling it. It'd be a lot easier if I could control my portions like that.
So have you ever tried to make this change before, or is this your first time?
It's my first time, and now that I'm verbalizing it, I think it'd be easier for me, rather than think to just try to quit altogether. I think it'd be easier to try and minimize my intake. I have a love for candy, so I think instead of eating candy, in huge amounts, then just to minimize it, as much as I can. Give the effort and limit myself to just a little bit a day. Not get rid of it completely, because that's cold turkey is going to be a tough thing to do. But just to take baby steps about it would be the wisest, most efficient decision.
So do you have any ideas on how you think you'll go about making this change?
Well, to give the example of Whoppers, let's say, since they're so quantifiable, I think it'd be best to just reserve myself maybe 5 a day. That's it. Just to give into the craving so much to where I don't lose my mind. So 5 a day would be a really, really good start, at least. And then maybe take it down to, 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then 0. It's just a matter of baby steps and graduality.
Well, I've had some people come in before with this issue. Is that something I could talk to you about? Maybe some ideas?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Well, I think that you have a good understanding of trying to, gradually decline your intake of Whoppers. I think that that's definitely going to be the smartest way going about it. Is not just completely cutting it off cold turkey, as you said. As for most people, that just doesn't work because they just instantly get those cravings as soon as they do that.
Exactly.
But I think that starting off by just reducing your intake, like you said, would be the smartest thing, and then week by week, just try to gradually go down, and then maybe after a month or two, try to cut it off completely and see how that does.
Yeah, it's a good plan, yeah, and like I said, I don't know how hard it's going to be, but for the sake of my health, my heart, I'm going to try my best, because out of all the things, out of all the things you could eat that are bad for you, candy is one of the worst for your heart, for your overall health. So if I just think of it that way, as look at the risks, see, a good attitude I think I could benefit from is, what would be the consequences of not implementing this change? And think about it that way. What would your future be like if you just stopped working out, stopped doing everything, and just binge on junk food and candy for the rest of your youth? What would that look like? And I think it's a good, the fear factor is a good method of motivation. So I think I think that'll help.
So, hope this was beneficial. I hope I was able to give you some insight and some ideas that could hopefully be beneficial for you to make this change. Do you have any other questions or thoughts?
No, sir. Thank you for having me. This has been really helpful, so I appreciate your
I'm
time.
very glad I was able to help you, Aaron.
Absolutely, sir. Talk to you again soon.